come inside. We're playing sometimes maybe 2 of them on the field, but not a lot. But when 2 of those guys come on the field, we can still flex them out. So it's not like, in our day and age of tight end, we're looking for receiving type players that become tough enough and big enough to block. That's what Luke is, and Jeremy, and Rashad, and Jake.
Sorry to interrupt, but speaking of Jeremy, where have you seen him take the biggest stride this spring so far?
Just getting a little bit more confident and mature and tough in the run game. Just understanding, when you're an athletic player and you're young and not as strong as you need to be, if you're thinking about what to do, you don't create enough power to block. So one of his ways of creating power is he's a good athlete, so it's running, it's movement. It's as he gains momentum, he's a better blocker. But when you're thinking and you're hesitant, you don't gain momentum. When you're not overpowering because you're a young player and you played receiver, you're not as strong as you need to be. The more confident he became as a blocker, he runs off the ball more, so he creates more power. He plays with better leverage, so he's a more competent blocker. Always been a good receiver, but he's a more competent blocker, and he's doing a great job.
You talked about, even though he's a tight end, you guys have been experimenting, flexing him out to H a little bit. Is he as versatile a guy as you could? How much does his versatility, benefit you guys in that you can line him up sort of in tight end, now you like him more as a blocker, but also you have the ability to have him go down the field and use his movement as a receiver?
Well, everything that you just said is what they do in general. So if there's one tight end on the field, he can play tight end, but he has to flex out. So if you watch us the last couple of years, there's one tight end on the field. He might be in the backfield playing that fullback position. He might be a tight end. He might be a wing. He might flex out as a receiver. When you put 2 of them on the field, they both could be tight ends. One could come into the backfield. One could flex out. Both could flex out. So every job he's doing as the second tight end, he always does, because that's what the first tight end does. The reason we've never done that, the second tight end wasn't as good as the second receiver or the third receiver or the fourth. So what you're going to do, you're going to play your best 11 or your best 12 or 13 or 14 or 15 people. So if the tight end position is better and their skill set says they can do a lot of jobs, now we change formations, but they get on the field. If you want to do that and those are bad players, you take them off the field and you put the good players on the field. So previously, because of the receiving strength we've had, we've been a lot more spread with one tight end. Now, our receivers are doing well. Our young receivers are going to do well. So we're not going to have a major drop-off in talent at receiver. So it's not like we're trying to have more tight ends because the receiver position is not going to be strong. The receiver position is going to be strong. It's just our tight end position is getting stronger that they can get on the field more. In every job they're doing as a second tight end, they already do it as the first tight end. So it's really not it's not mentally, or it's not a new offense. It's just getting the best guys on the field. And Demario McCall has a slight pull of muscle, but you do have Demario McCall with 2 tailbacks, and now he's a receiver because he has that skill set. So it's really kind of cool. And that's the fun part of spring, until we're having fun.
When you look at bringing in other quarterbacks a couple of years in a row, what's the transition like in spring just to find, Matthew was hurt, Justin wasn't here, to find those strengths and weaknesses that you always talk about to build the offense around?
Yeah, it's you get these 15 practices, and then you get into the summer when the ball comes out, we can't be there.
Yeah.
So they've got to continue to enhance through the summer months. But I mean, it's tough, and it's not coach speak or phony, but sometimes you're really just trying to figure it out, and it takes a little time. I think the worst thing we can do is force it. I think it's bad to say Matt Baldwin can't do this, so don't do it. Maybe Matt can, he just needs a little bit of time. When you get 15 practices 3 times a week, sometimes maybe you need a little bit more. Help them through summer in preseason. So it takes time, don't rush the time, but as we get into that second week of preseason, is when you really start figuring where you're going. Between now and then, we need to make sure we're not having so much fun, we get all over the place. And you're not developing, the toughness you need for the offense and the pass protection you need and the quality of play. So that's, as you look at all these things guys can do, you can become the old master of all or jack of all, and you don't master anything. And so that's where we got to be smart.
So if you
sometimes less is more.
Yeah. So if you go through spring, you basically want, tell me if this is wrong, you want them to run all the same stuff, and then you'll work from that in August, or
to some degree. So for example, like last year with Dwayne and Tate. So you can say, well, those are 2 different quarterback skill sets, and maybe they are. But we had to run similar plays because if Tate was going to play with the ones, the offensive line needed to know what to do. and it's the second or third team receivers and tight ends. We're going to play with Dwayne, so it wasn't like it was two different offenses because they were different skill sets. You may be favored a little bit more because he liked this throw or he liked this run, but you don't. That's where with what Ryan will do with Coach Dud. We always go to Coach Dud. Can you handle this blocking? Do you want to do this yet? And then we'll go to Mike and Coach David, the quarterback. Can the quarterback handle it? And then from there you do it. But we got to make sure that, you know, again, you can get all over the place, and that's the tough thing in spring ball. And then you just start running a crap load of plays instead of an offense.
This is the first spring with Day as head coach. Have things been very different as a coaching staff, or does there seem to be a lot of continuity?
I think a lot of continuity. And one, you know, he did a great job last year in the interim, and one, just being himself, and he's continuing to be himself. He does a great job in direction of what he wants, and I think we've got a very mature step. We got a couple new. We got Mike's new one on offense, but I think we got in our room. We got guys that are on the same page, and we communicate well and take what he wants and we take it to the kids, and we take it to the field, and it's been a very positive. You can say it's a transition, but offensively, it's been very, very good.
Yeah, what is yours that's brought to the?
He said he wanted to let you guys handle play calling throughout the spring. Is that been what you guys have been doing? Or?
Yeah, but you kind of sit around and almost play script. Like today we were play calling the first 48 plays. We decided yesterday what we were doing, so it wasn't like the heat of the moment. We knew it was going to be 3rd and 10. We knew it was going to be 3rd and 8. We knew it was going to be 3rd and 5. We knew it was going to be on the left hash. We didn't know what the defense was going to do, but we knew what we were going to do. So, you know, there's been a little bit of that, but typically, you know, we all kind of do it together. Like yesterday, he came in and said, "Hey, here are things I like," and with Coach Stud saying, "Hey, and by the way, give me this run or this run," or Coach Hartline saying, "Hey, I like this pass, this pass." So ultimately, it's a group deal. Ultimately, still he's the head coach. Ultimately, still an offensive-oriented guy. So we're going to follow his lead, but through that, me and Mike with the skill guys and me with Stud with the big guys, we kind of blended it together.
Coach Day said that Jeremy's been playing some H. What's that been like, kind of having him play some receiver?
Well, it depends on which play you want me to talk about today.
Well, if it's a passing play, I mean, what's different about him playing an H?
We just said earlier, you know, all H's, it's the third receiver, or in some cases the second tight end. Our tight end will play true tight end position. He'll play off the ball. He'll play in the backfield. He'll play receiver. So when two tight ends are in the field, they could both be tight ends. One of them could play off the ball, or both of them off the ball. They could play together as a wing. They could play as a fullback. They could flex out a receiver. One guy could flex. You could put two tight ends on the field and go empty, because Jeremy Ruckert can play in space, but so does Luke Farrell. So does Rashad Berry. So every job that the tight end does with one tight end is the same job he does as the second tight end. Now, there might be certain routes we might say, you know, that's really not a tight end route. That's more of a KJ Hill route. That's more of a Paris Campbell route. Does that make sense? Jalen Gill route. So there might be certain routes that never come up. But every job they do, and the only reason they're going to go out there is they're playing well enough to crack the top 11. And they're helping your team win. They give you diversity because you can go big and spread, but they also need to be productive. And right now it has a chance to be a productive one.
In modern football, do you need to come up for another name for that instead of tight end?
Well, that's kind of what I mean.
I know, I'm just missing.
You know, well, and you said, because like when you sit there, you know, when we look at tight end recruits, the guys that really can block and can't run, don't fit. We're better at the combine this year. Of the 15 tight ends or 18 that were at the combine, 3 were high school quarterbacks. And most of them weighed 210 or 215, and they were big receivers that developed. So the receiver that plays in space, who gets tough enough and strong enough, is really the evolution of what some tight ends are.
Wide receiver is more of his natural position. That's what he played in high school. Tight end he wasn't exposed to that until he got here. What have you seen out of Jeremy's development over the past year?
Again, he's stronger,
yeah.
but he's more confident, so he's running off the ball because he's a good athlete. So as he runs, he gains force. As he gains force, it's power. Power's blocking, power's movement. So he's stronger, but he's more confident. And because he's a good athlete, he can be a good blocker because he has natural speed. But it's getting him comfortable to understand how to play with leverage, and he's becoming a consistent blocker. With him, Rashad, Jake, Luke, it's a solid group right now.
You've talked a lot about the versatility in the tight end room, and you've seen versatility in the offensive line. How important has been versatility in terms of the offense as a whole, like getting guys to do multiple things?
Well, the one question was, you know, you guys having fun in spring. And to me, the fun part is when you can put guys on the field and they can do multiple jobs and the defense doesn't know what's going on. Because if you have to substitute and you put a big guy out there and just run the ball, and then you take him out and they pass the ball. After a while, hey, the passing tight end's in, you know, or the big running back in. It's an inside run. So when you have versatile kids running backs that can play in space, receivers that can come to the edge and block, tight ends that can flex out, the more versatile those guys are, the more fun you can have with the chess pieces. And you window dress and show the defense a lot, but it's not a lot, and you let those talented kids do. So do we have a running back that play receiver? We think so with DeMario and maybe this Xavier Johnson kid's kind of flashing that has played receiver, and it's kind of interesting there. Do you play 2 tight ends? You could play 3 tight ends. And all of a sudden you could have a fullback and 2 tight ends. All of a sudden you could have empty and no one in the backfield because those tight ends can play in space. So then all of a sudden, substitute, you're going fast and you're changing the looks, and that's difficult for the defense.
Hey, Kevin, the defensive linemen we talked to today said they felt like they were doing a more effective job getting pressure on the offense this spring. No, it's just spring, but I kind of want to fact check that. Is there something happening there that they're doing a better job of that?
Well, I don't mean
but
in my time, and shoot, like, you know, show up when it's Taekwon and Joe and Nick and all them guys. Well, I mean, they've always been guys in the backfield to me, you know. And today we do 32 straight third downs, so that wasn't the most enjoyable period of my life. It's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 8, third. You know, can we get like a 3rd and inches? You know what I'm saying? I mean, why is it going to be? It's 3rd and 10 on the 10-yard line. Okay, let's try the field goal twice. But because of that, they tee off, and that's what you want the defense to do. And Coach Meyer did a great job, which Ryan's doing the same deal. You want the quarterback and you want the lineman to feel what it feels like when the game's on the line. And so that's the beauty of when our D linemen are really teeing off rushing. And sometimes offensively, you can say it's a little bit uphill, but sometimes the game's uphill. You're on the road, you're playing great teams, you're playing rivals, you can't hear. It's loud as all get out. That guy's a first-round draft pick. He's trying to kill me. It's 3rd and 10. Okay, block him. And that's real. And the more we create that in practice, the stronger the line's going to be. And through my 2 years with Coach Meyer and what happened today, we try to create that. Because you're trying to, everybody says you want to practice that game, but that feels, when Chase Young's coming off the edge against Alabi or against Brandon Bowen, that feels like that's real. That's real. That's a game. We say it's a game rep, even though it's practice number 8. That's a game rep. And the more he feels game rep, the more he's going to be game ready to help us try to be a championship team.
What was it like to game plan on the other side of Larry and the other side of Greg? I'm sure you did that during your career when you were going against them.
And you're talking?
When you were in Indiana and they were, Larry was at Penn State. How good are they on that side of the other side of the ball?
They're real good. They're real good. I mean, of course, also, they've always been really good because with them comes some great players. Right. But it's one thing to have great players. It's also the ability to connect and to get the respect of the player that he'll buy into you. And that's the beauty of Coach Johnson. And I've been around Coach Mattis a long time, but seeing him for years, I think it's the beauty of him. It's one thing to have knowledge. It's another thing to have good players, but when they connect. And that's what, to me, what separates a great coach, a great unit. And in my time, it's always been Larry's strength in working with Greg. I know it's why Greg's been so sick. And Urban always said for years, he always thought Greg's one of the best coaches he ever been around. So it's knowledge of the position, it's the ability to connect with the kid and get the kid to buy it.
Nice on a staff to not be around, to have more than just 30-year-olds and 32-year-olds, maybe have a 69-year-old and a 65-year-old on the staff. Is that a little more?
I'm getting up there too, but I ain't saying that yet. I got a little bit. Well, my knee didn't feel like today.
Just a connection in terms of life.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the same time, no matter what your age is, listen to the old Toby Keith song, if you didn't know what day you were born, what would your age, would you know what your age was? That's how you act, how you be. And Larry Johnson and Coach Madison are young guys. I can try to have as much fun as I can. And to me, it's like Christmas. You're at Ohio State and your coach is like Christmas every day. Let's don't have too much fun. Let's have a direction, but let's go have some fun coaching these guys up. And I think it's nice to have experience, but I think with experience comes the trust in yourself. Like today, I told my guys I made some mistakes today that were on me. I can help you a little bit more, and that one's on me, and I'll get it figured out. So you can have those two-way conversations. Young coaches, sometimes it's a one-way conversation. I think the older you get, it's a little bit more of a two-way street. And with that, you can get some ownership, get the kids to buy in, and you can become a really strong unit, a good team.
What is the key, though, for guys to work together? I mean, obviously, Greg Madison's got a great rep. He's one of the great D-line coaches out there.
Yeah, I just put it in my perspective. I've been around. I was running stuff with Oklahoma, and then all of a sudden Chuck Long said with me, "Hey, man, let's just work together." And because sometimes you do is you're thinking out loud. And some of your thoughts aren't good thoughts. How about this? That's not a good thought. So, you know, but when you respect everyone's opinion, and then you come to a decision and work together, life's good. It's not about who's right, it's what we do. And then you got to take it to the table. So to me, like I just looked at our working the last couple of years with Coach, and like I'm Coach Stud's the line coach, but I help him, but I work with him. And I think when you have coaches that embrace working together and working with guys, like I'm not working for those guys. I work for Coach Day, I work for Coach Meyer, I'm working for Coach Day. The rest of the day, even though we got titles, I feel we're all working together.
But did Coach Meyer demand that? I mean, did he say that when you came in? I mean, did Coach Day reiterate that?
All Coach said initially, you got to do a good job of getting your group just connected together. And so with that, you just try to embrace ideas, open conversation. You ask a lot of questions. You ask what guys are thinking. You get guys to have ownership of it. You know, in my position, I get some guys. Hey, this like today when they came in, I had a guy in charge making sure that everyone was here. It was a young guy, but I want him to have ownership. So you do as a coach. Hey, Hardline. Today I said hard. Hey, I'm down here on the red zone. What do you want? Hey, give me your pass. What do you think? Well, now he's got a little bit of ownership in it. And whether it was a good play or bad play, it makes them feel like they're involved. And the more guys are involved, the better you're going to be.
One more quick follow, though. What has Coach Yurcich, in your opinion, brought to the table the first several months here?
Well, I think kind of like Coach Day was, and like me, first of all, just a different view, because when you're a coach looking at things, it's like looking at, when you look at a football play, to me, it's a piece of art. And when you go, certain guys see different things in pieces of art. He's going to see a play sometimes different than me. And it's not right or wrong, it's his view. I've got my view. But I respect his view, and sometimes he'll make something like, that's pretty good thought. Or like, no, we see it this way. And I think he would say there's been some things like where he thinks, okay, I never saw it that way. Because sometimes you know what you know, but he brings a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, a lot of juice. He's working well with the guys. And to me, he's got a very positive view, but a different view. And we try to blend that in and share ideas and keep it moving.
Did you ever say, well, at Oklahoma, we didn't? No, I'm just messing.
You mentioned.
I didn't tell him we were 8 more.
Last question. You mentioned that all the tight ends can play some fullback too. When you're working with more under center stuff, like I know you guys have been doing some in the spring, does that lead to more opportunities for guys to maybe play some fullback?
Yeah, but sometimes that fullback too, the way you're doing it if you're in gun, it's just like that offset deal. So you can be straight in the eye or you can offset a little. So this right now, they got to show me they deserve a carry. So right now they're not carrying the football. That's the only thing I can tell right now. They're not doing it. They're blockers, they're catchers, and we're playing multiple positions. It's a good group.
Thank you.
Thank you.